Okay, so now we're back. We're going to finish up this video for this section. Now we're going to go into naming variables. Again, the link is in the description for this curriculum. If you're not a part of the cohort, it is free and you're welcome to utilize it. So now let's get into naming variables. Naming variables, valid variable names. As you may have discovered already, not just as a sequence of characters is a valid variable name. For example, if we try to declare a variable with the name containing space, JavaScript complains. Like, this is illegal. You can't do that. It's going to give you a syntax error, unexpected identifier. What's the unexpected identifier? The space in that name. It's only looking for one name. It always has to be one. It can't be two. Now, in this case, identifier is another term for variable name. Remember that identifier. When you see the identifier in the syntax error, you know it's talking about the variable name. So the error message is saying that the variable name is not valid or is unexpected. JavaScript provides a broad set of rules for naming variables, but there is no reason to go beyond a few easy remembered guidelines. Use only the characters 0 and 9, lowercase a through z, capital A through z. These are the standards. And underscores. In other words, don't use special characters, white space, tabs, or so on. Do not start a variable name with a number, so we don't want to start a variable name with a number. Avoid starting a variable name with an underscore. Sometimes it's necessary that you may have to use an underscore, but you know, that's a team agreement. That's something you agree on your team in special cases. Doing so is a convention used by some JavaScript developers to mean something very specific about the variable and shouldn't be avoided. Do not use keywords, which are words reserved by JavaScript for use by the language itself. We'll discuss these in detail in a moment. Following these guidelines will prevent you from creating illegal variable names. While this is important, we should also strive to create good variable names. What is a good variable name? Writing good code is about more than writing code that simply works and accomplishes the task at hand. It is also about writing code that can be read, updated, and maintained as easily as possible. However, to write code that achieves these goals is a theme we will return to again and again. One of the primary ways that code can be written poorly is by using bad variable names. For example, consider following program. While we haven't introduced each of the components used here, you should be able to come to a general understanding of the new components. As you can see, let x assign to 5 or assign 5 to x, or const y3.4 assign 3.4. Let z sine x times x modulus 2, or exponential, I can't say that word. And then console log.z. We haven't talked about these yet. That's why underscoring what this program is trying to do is not obvious. Why is that not obvious? You may be asking yourself. To say the least, the main problem is that the variable names x, y, and z are not descriptive. Remember I said earlier, your variable names need to be descriptive. They don't tell us anything about what they represent or how they will be used. Now, why we are wanting you to understand that is because in context, high level, human readable. It has to make sense. It's going to be compiled down to a machine readable language later for the machine to read it. It doesn't matter to the machine, but for you and I, it makes our job a lot easier if we can understand what's going on. So you always want to write good variable names that are descriptive. Don't write singular when you have plural things in it, plural more than one data type. And don't write plural and you only have a singular data type. That's important to understand. Variable names should be descriptive, providing context about the data they contain and how they will be used. Let's look at an improved version of this program. So here we go. The radius of a circle, 5. Const pi. Let area of a circle, we're going pi times radius of a circle, exponential exponent. I'll explain more. I don't know why I have a problem saying that word. And then we're going to assign it to the area of a circle. And then we console log area of a circle is going to give us our output. With improved variable names, it becomes clear that the program is calculating the area of a circle. That makes sense, right? So let's do this real quick. Let's see what that area of a circle is. Let's see what that comes back to be. So I'm going to go here, copy that to my clipboard. Let me clear this. Let me right click, paste. There we go, 78.5. That's what the area of that formula gives us. Like I said, practice, practice, practice. The more you do, the more you improve. Don't just do it once, constantly keep practicing. Now, when considering program readability, think about whether or not your code will make sense to another programmer. It is not enough for a code to be readable by only the programmer that originally wrote it. Camel case variable names. There is one more aspect of naming variables that you should be aware of, and that is conventions used by professional programmers. Conventions are not formal rules, but are informal practices adopted by a group. In the United States, it is common for two people to greet each other with a handshake. In other countries and cultures, such as some in East Asia, the conventional greeting is to bow. Failing to follow a social convention is not a violation of the law, but is considered impolite. Nonetheless, it is a signal that you are not part of the group or do not respect its norms. There are a variety of types of conventions used by different groups of programmers. One common type convention is that programmers that specialize in specific languages will adopt certain variable naming practices. In JavaScript, most programmers use the camel case style, which stipulates that variable names consist of names or phrases that are joined together to omit spaces, start with a lowercase letter, and capitalize each internal word. Therefore, in the example from the previous section, the descriptor area of circle became a variable named area of circle. This convention is called camel case because the capitalization of internal words is reminiscent of a camel's hump. Another common name for this convention is lowercase camel or lower camel case, since names start with the lowercase letter. Different programming languages often have different variable naming conventions. For example, Python convention is to use all lowercase letters and separate words with underscores as an area of circle. We will use the lower camel case convention throughout this course and strongly encourage you to do so as well. Keywords. Our last note on naming variables has to do with a collection of words that are reserved for use by JavaScript language itself, such as words are called keywords or reserved words. Any word that is formally part of the JavaScript language syntax is a keyword. So far, we have seen only 4 keywords: let, const, var, and type of. While console and console dialog may seem like keywords, they are actually slightly different things. They are entities, an object and a function respectively, that are available by default in most JavaScript environments. Remember I said that console is an object and log is a method, which is a function. Attempting to use a keyword for anything other than its intended use will result in an error. To see this, let's try to name a variable const. So here we're just declaring it right here. And then we do what? And the console output is going to give us what? Syntax error, unexpected token. So what am I saying here? This const is a keyword. You can't name a variable with the keyword. It goes at the front of the variable. So you see, that's how you're going to get the error. Most code editors will highlight keywords in different colors than variables or other parts of your code. This serves as a visual cue that a given word is a keyword and can help prevent mistakes. We will not provide the full list of keywords at this time, but rather point them out as we learn about each of them. If you are curious, the full set of lists is here at MDN. Here's a link. You can click on this link, and if you want to bookmark it, go ahead and bookmark it. Put it in its own folder on your browser, so that if you don't finish it, or if you want to use it as a reference, you know how to find it without having to find it in the curriculum. Okay, we made it to the end of more on variables. We're going to go into expressions and evaluations next. So again, bookmark this, go back over it when you have some time to make sure you really get the concept. And remember, the more you do, the more you improve. Okay, see you in the next video.